gentle down there.
I don't want to be tickled while I'm trying to take a shit.
I'm Rich.
And I'm Josh.
Make sure your Walkman is at full battery because we're diving into our dad tapes.
Thanks for listening to tape number 17 of the dad tapes. Let's get rolling. What are we drinking tonight?
Tonight we have our hands on this. It's a great lager.
Yeah.
It's a lager from the Ross Beer Company in Monmouth County, New Jersey. It's the Fish Finder Lager, which is actually a collab with a fish, a fishery. What do they call it? Like a fish sports store. It's Tack Waterman.
I guess it would be like a tackle supply store.
Yeah. When I looked it up, that's what it is. It's a really good lager. I mean, quite honestly, I would put this up there with like some of the best lagers I've ever had. I mean, it is a really freaking good lager. I've never heard of this brewery before, but I'm not going to be shy or hesitant to try them again. Honestly, it's a really good beer. Agreed. What do you think about it? It would be good sitting right next to your tackle box on your boat.
Yeah.
You know definitely. What I'm saying? What do you think about it?
Honestly, I mean, all right, so like Rich was saying, I mean, it's really tasty. I mean, it's something I would definitely buy again. Honestly, in my opinion, I would buy it over a Yingling any day.
Absolutely.
I mean, by the looks of the can, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't buy it at first glance. But now that I know that I've tasted it, it's definitely something that I would buy
it's
again.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, it's really good.
Honestly, when you look at the can, you kind of think that it's just going to be some, another like mediocre.
We'll just preface this by saying, you're not a
or whatever.
Yeah, you're not a micro brewery type of guy where
I am,
you
but
get
I'm
your
very
dick hard
picky.
by going out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you are, but you're also not. I mean,
you're
gonna pick a big brand name over a small microbrewery, especially if it just looks like it could be a hoppy beer.
Yeah.
But hey, can't judge a book by its cover, bro.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like going to breweries. I do like trying new shit. But I'm just not, I don't go there all the time.
I feel you.
It's like a once in a while thing. So how's your week been?
So you saw Benji before, right, man? He was a cute little lovable, fluffy little guy, man. Shaggy. That's how I like my dogs. I like my dogs long haired. It's like, I think I don't know, something about them. They look cool. You know?
Yeah, agreed.
He looked like a little surfer dog, quite honestly. But we got him groomed, and he looks like a rat.
He looks like a ball sack, bro.
He looks like you could see his ball sack.
Emotional damage.
You could see he doesn't poop on the grass because his ball sack grazes the blades of grass. And he poops on the patio. He pees on the patio.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I mean, when I think about it, it's like, can I really blame it? I don't want my ball sack being rubbed up by some grass too. Sometimes it hurts.
I mean, listen,
it's so gentle down there.
I don't want to be tickled while I'm trying to take a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And it's happened ever since he got his hair cut, groomed. Bathed, all that. He needed it. He was, we got him as a puppy, and he was long haired when we got him, and he was a bit matted in some spots. So they had to take him really short. But good grief, it is short. It is short. The guy has like no fur left. It sucks for him. Yeah, dude. It's besides those two and Benji, dude. This week I discovered he's been chewing the
puppies will do puppy things.
Yeah, well. He's damaging crap. He's chewing. So we have a fireplace in our living room. There's, how they put like that blue insulation, really thin insulation, kind of like a styrofoam paper.
Yeah.
They put that to protect it against the heat. Well, a little bit of the bottom of it sticks out from the bottom, right where the bump out is for that fireplace. And totally normal, fine. He found it, and now he's He's chewing it galore. There's shreds of it all over the yard. Okay? So then we also have a sub pump. And, the sub pump pops out of the side of the house. And I can't remember if I've complained about it before, but I had to dig a trench for it, route a whole hose for it, a corrugated hose, ran it all the way to the sidewalk. Great job. Good, clean finish. Except for now, there's the PVC pipe that pops out. You bends down, and that's where I hook up the corrugated hose. He's chewing the corrugated hose and digging a hole around where it goes into the ground. Okay? Oh, also, he's chewing the freaking insulation around the line of Freon that goes into the condenser outside. Okay? So I'll just say I've had a great week with this dog. I'm so happy we got him. I am being freaking sarcastic as hell right now, if you can't tell. I am. Anybody looking for a puppy? I have one. He's a puppy. He's a boy puppy.
A great loving puppy.
He's very loving. He really loves
chew
Winston.
Anything, nothing. He's very good.
No false advertisement here. He's a puppy. And he is a very loving puppy. He really loves to spread his love around, if you will. But yeah, other than that, it's been a pretty normal week with the kids. The party was great for Bridget.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a good little party. But other than that, man, it's been a week. It's been a week. How about you, bro? What's going up? Joshy Poo Poo Alley over there.
Not much, man. Just I'm excited, man. I got Addie from Friday to Tuesday this week.
Wow, the ex-wife actually gave you some extra day there.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah,
Wow.
she did. Yeah,
Shout out to her.
We got a bunch of things planned this weekend. We're gonna go to a barbecue, and Sunday we're probably gonna go to the beach.
Nice.
Yeah, sadly I have to work Monday, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, bro.
So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. I'm
good,
excited.
Man. Good. I'm glad you get that time with her. It's gonna be. I hope you spend that well, man.
Yeah, definitely. So. So you know what time it is?
I believe it's time for us to be prepared. I always try to be prepared. So our little handy dandy, Be Prepared, a practical handbook for new dads and all dads for that fact. Tonight we're going to be reading great outings, and you kind of want to start to get these great outings between just as they're touching that 1 year mark, man.
Yep.
That's when you could do the big fun things. Your baby's almost 1 year old. It has the ability to sit still and stare straight ahead. We'll just call your baby It for not It the clown, but it. Some good activities for you and your baby to do could be like construction sites, bro. Look, I'm a grown man and I could sit all day. Look, you're a grown man and you drive in a construction vehicle. It's just something cool about construction stuff.
All day, every day, bro.
Exactly. There's just something really cool about it. So every baby gotta love a construction site, bro. You got dump trucks unloading, cranes lifting up, girders. Wow. Cranes lifting up, girders, supports being driven into the ground, cement being poured and smooth, bricks being laid, bada bing, bada boom, everything, bro. It's what more could you really? That is days long of entertainment for a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Then obviously birthday parties, man. You're getting out there 1 year old now. Birthday parties, that's a thing.
Yep.
We just had our 2-year-old birthday party. It's certainly a step up from a 1-year-old birthday party. You got the work set up. These kids are going to be bored and they're going to riot. The next thing you want to try to do is try to get your kid to a pizza parlor.
An actual pizza parlor.
Yeah.
Where they still throw the
Domino's.
dough and shit,
Yeah, we're not talking Pizza Hut. We're not talking Papa John's. We're not talking Little Caesars.
Or mediocre shit. Easy with the Little Caesars. All right. Pequeño Quasars.
I could devour a pizza from all those places I just named, okay? I've only ever had Papa John's once, and I don't remember what it was like. I could devour a pizza from all those pizza places that I've named, but that's not a true pizza parlor.
No.
You can't go there, watch a pizza maker, toss that dough. But you know what? We live at the Jersey Shore, where we got that crap on the boardwalk. We got that crap on the streets off the boardwalk. We got that crap on the streets you don't want to be on because there's a lot of other crap on that street, okay?
Yeah,
There's 100 different pizza places in every shore town. Dude, Just go in and watch the guy toss some dough up, bro.
And
I used to love doing that. I made pizzas in my life.
Dude,
I worked
9
at a
out of 10 of
pizzeria.
those pizza parlors are fucking mint too, bro.
So, it says here feeding the ducks, but be careful with that, man. Number one, ducks can be mean, bro. And if you run into a flock of ducks and there's a couple of swans around, swans can be even meaner.
They're fucking
but the
nasty.
worst are geese.
Look at all those chickens.
Don't spit your beer out now, bro. Those things just don't care,
No,
man.
they're
They
nasty little shits.
You thought a honey badger was bad. Well, wait till you meet a Canadian goose. And then the last thing is department stores. And you know what? That's fun for anybody. Like, I just love to go to a department store like Walmart and see, people watch.
Yeah.
Your baby's not going to people watch. I mean, okay, you know what? Your baby will people watch, but not in the same way you do.
No.
They're going to be judgmentalist. They're going to be judgment free. And that's how you can be a prepared dad this week.
So tonight, we want to talk about the guilt of feeling like you haven't done enough. It can be brutal. You have done enough, though, even just by acknowledging your involvements. But we're going to delve into the awareness you have as a father just by having doubts.
It's time for our data dump, bro. We often ask ourselves, pretty silently sometimes, most of the time, am I a bad parent? And it's a question we all have asked ourselves at some point in time.
Yeah.
We're not proud to ask ourselves that question. We're not proud to talk about the fact that we asked ourselves that question, but we do. So let's just define what parenting guilt is. Parent guilt is when a parent feels torn between their responsibilities as a parent and something else that is competing for their attention, such as work or other personal interests. This guilt can impact your parenting in a multitude of ways, such as overcompensating in other ways, such as material or financial reparations to your children, feeling like a failure, having permissiveness with your children, needing reassurance, and as far as being mentally absent when around your children. That's the toughest part.
Yeah.
Because then you catch yourself being absent-minded sometimes. Everybody does it. Because you just want those few minutes of escape. And that's parenting guilt. Sometimes, though, parenting guilt can come from other places and not having that magnifying glass on the work-life, home-life relationship. Such as, a place that guilt and shame can come from is your child's behaviors, specifically out in public areas. We just talked about in being a prepared dad, taking your kid out to a department store.
Yeah.
We've all been in the store with your kid acting a fool and screaming like someone just ripped out their favorite toy of the day out of their hands. And it's embarrassing. You can't help but feel the shame about that sometimes. Like the fear of judgment, the shame of all that, embarrassment. You can't help but feel that. It is what it is. It happens.
Yeah.
And we internalize this as a reflection on our parenting. But we need to remind ourselves constantly that these children feel emotions at a large scale and are still understanding and processing their own emotions. And when you're caught up in a moment, we've talked about it before of being able to collect yourself and having those practices, but you're still going to find yourself in a moment.
Yeah.
You forget that sometimes. And guilt tends to permeate through your mind no matter your situation. It happens, whether you're a single father trying to provide where you can, and despite the fact that you're not always physically present in your child's life, or a married working father pushing themselves to earn more for their family and children to give them a life that he never lived or you never lived but yearned for. Or even a stay-at-home dad feeling the pressures of the societal norms and feeling the guilt for not even earning anything for his family. No matter your situation, guilt is guilt, and it's universally shared with all dads.
So one thing that I always think about is that I was at work so much more than it should have been, but only to provide for the family. Did you have that feeling of guilt in the beginning when you were working a lot, when Jill was at home with the kids during the day? Do you feel like you missed a lot when Dex was little?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've kind of grazed over this a bit before, but, you know, reflecting back on the time when I was working and Joe was out on maternity leave with Declan and got to spend those moments, those precious moments. Because I mean, yeah, the days seem long, but the years they go by quick. And
Very.
you know, even for that fact, just even going shorter than years, man, weeks and months, those times blow by too.
Yeah.
And, you know, considering the fact that we're in New Jersey and she had extended FMLA through her work and through the state, you know, she got some really good time with Declan. It was a very interesting position because I felt even fortunate just to have 5 days off of work. And reflecting back, like, I absolutely wish I had more time. Like, I should have taken more time. I should, you know, work is work. Work will always be there. I may not even have the same job, but work is always going to be available. It's always, you're going to always be able to find something.
Yep.
So I would rather feel the guilt of, you know, not being at work than the guilt of not being present with my children. And if there was one thing I could do differently and go back and rewind and alter that, would be to spend more time and take more time off of work to spend with Declan, because that's time that's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
It's time I'll never get back. It's tough. Even to this day, you know, I still reflect on those moments, and the best thing that I can do now is just not try to overcompensate, but just try to realize those moments that I missed. I at least have something now that I can continue to, like, allow to flourish in those moments and be present in those moments. It's important to him and me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll flip that question back around with you too. I mean, I know your ex-wife. I don't think we've ever addressed her by name, so we'll just keep that status quo. Your ex-wife, you know, she worked a pretty flexible job. She was a waitress at the time.
Yeah.
And when she, you know, got pregnant and you guys changed gears in getting ready to change your life direction, you had to still work through all that.
Uh-huh.
Did you get any time off within, like, that first window of life for her?
The first week,
yeah,
I had off.
Okay.
I had taken the first week off. I wish I took more. I thought I didn't really know that I had that opportunity that I could take a lot more.
Yeah. Well, employers don't really like to.
No, they don't.
They don't like to open your eyes to that.
No, they don't communicate with you at all, because honestly, it's more or less, you know, you're their bitch in a sense. Is how
when
I
you're
put
not
it.
there, you're not making them money.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just
You know?
you're an expense.
Yeah. But I wish I did take more time throughout the younger years of Addison's life.
You know, I feel kind of vindicated because I got that time with Bridget, you know, for her first year of life. So, I mean, that being said, I know, you know, we've discussed in the past that it's tough on you dealing with not having her on a weekly basis now.
Yeah.
You know, let alone on a daily basis. That would be ideal for you. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's tough on anybody. It's tough and it's also kind of tough to even have them on a daily basis, quite honestly.
It is.
You know, and this opens the door for, you know, new ways of feeling parenting guilt. For instance, you know, I feel guilt when I get overwhelmed by my gremlins, by my bosses. And I just want a day away from them. And it's like, I just want that reprieve. I want that relief. But then I remind myself, it's like, I have the opportunity, though, at the same time, to be there for them and with them.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, like, try to, I don't want to say, you know, I don't want to say be the hero for all the dads who can't be involved in their children's life, but, you know, you also can't help but feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and it's just like a perspective shift and recalibrating myself. So how often do you feel that guilt of being a single dad and not having that time that you want with her? And it's not even circumstances that you can control.
Honestly, all the fucking time. I may have the guilt. I may feel guilty. But at the same time, it's like I have to remind myself that I'm not really going to go into detail about what was going on, but I wasn't in a good place.
Yeah.
at all. And I may have had to have gotten out of that. It may not have been the smartest way to do it. But at the same time, I didn't want my daughter to see how I was acting at that time. And I know that now that I don't have her as much as I did before.
Yeah.
But like I said, I always try to make up for it, Not make up for it for what I missed, but more or less make up for it just to do it for myself, to make myself feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, that guilt's always going to come across your mind.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's inescapable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not something you can literally just say, it's like a candle and blow out, and it's gone. But I try to make it better now to, I guess you could say, mask the guilt for the time being. There are days where I'll be at home and I'll be by myself and she's not there, and I get a little upset.
Yeah.
But it's something you have to. It's about a lot of compromise. It sucks, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You do have to do what you have to do sometimes. And at the end of the day, like you said, you don't want to put yourself, if you're not right for yourself, you're not going to be right for her.
Exactly.
And if you're not right for her, you're not going to be a good leader. You're not going to be a good father. You're not going to be a good protector. You're not going to be a good teacher. You're not going to be a good guide or
anything.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I mean, I don't think it matters the method of how you change your situation. What matters is you change your situation for the better.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, the guilt's always going to be there, and it sucks, man. My heart bleeds for you for that. It sucks. It's interesting because you're also a product of divorce, and furthermore, a product of shared custody. Have you ever discussed like how you feel and how you process those feelings with your dad before? I mean, with his understanding on a level that neither of us can fathom, and have going through childhood with his children all the way through raising those kids up to adults, do you feel like you and him share a lot of the same guilts in regards to being, in your situations and circumstances?
Yeah, I definitely, honestly, because I mean,
have you had conversations with him about it?
Oh yeah, all the time. My dad's a product of divorce as well, so it's
okay. Wow, I didn't know that.
No, it's just like, I mean, we can both sit here and talk about things. I mean, my parents got divorced at a young age. Me and my ex-wife got divorced. At a young age for me. As well as a young age for Addie. No, but there's a lot of things that we both can actually sit down, and it's I don't want to say enlightening, because enlightening is not the word for it. It's more or less eye-opening.
Yeah.
Because the things that I'm going through now are things that he went through when I was a kid. And it's like, wow, I mean, I'm not ragging on names or anything like that or whatnot, but I mean, it's just, it's tough on a single father,
It absolutely is.
I mean, it's not anything that I want to say that I can actually sit here and say that we have something in common now, but I mean, it's not something to be proud of.
No, but
it is also something that we can, we can relate to.
It's a bond. I mean, obviously, your father and son, there's always going to be a bond there, but
yeah,
no, some fathers and sons have weaker or stronger bonds, and
yeah,
you both having similar journeys is going to allow you to not only have a strong bond, but a sense of community. Yeah. And a different level of understanding than just your, average. We'll just say if your dad wasn't divorced and didn't go through that and wasn't a product of divorce, that relatability factor wouldn't be there.
Yeah, exactly. So with you being a stay-at-home dad, do you feel any guilt in the aspect that Jill's the one who's the main provider for you guys right now? Do you ever get that feeling of wanting to go back to work because you wish you could help alleviate some of the workload with your wife?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. I mean, that's in the prelude to the topic, we discussed in the data dump, when we ended that data dump, it's, I touched base on what it's, a stay-at-home dad every dad feels guilt.
Yeah.
And though I'm not feeling the same guilt that you feel, as if you're not getting to spend the time with your daughter or be present in her life, and you're just existentially there for her through financial aid and the short times you get with her.
Yeah, it's the same type of guilt, just different circumstances,
It's guilt nonetheless.
Yeah.
And yeah, I absolutely feel, especially when it's those stressful moments financially, when things go wrong or awry in the house. Unfortunately, I'm relatively handy, but at the end of the day, I can't fix everything. And not only that, me fixing things can't provide food. It can't
exactly.
provide the shelter or the cost to keep the shelter. So yeah, it's honestly a very defeating feeling. It's a deflating and emasculating feeling. Mm-hmm. When you first immerse yourself into that, it was a really tough thing to get over. It was a really tough obstacle to be able to digest the fact that here I am in a societal expectations going against everything.
Yeah.
In no way, shape, or form are we fitting the mold of the societal norms where my wife works, is the breadwinner, and I'm the stay-at-home parent. It's not the norm. It's a growing trend. But to answer your question, yeah, even to this day, there are elements of guilt that I still feel that I could be doing more. Like, dude, I'm just about to go be door dashing at night again. When Joe was pregnant with Bridget, I was door dashing because I felt as if I had to do everything that I could. My mother-in-law would come over and watch Declan, and Joe would be at work, and I would go and Instacart or DoorDash just to create that extra money to just selfishly help combat that guilt.
Yeah.
It helped subside that guilt, at least until I found another way to be able to combat that.
Yeah.
But even to this day, even with all the resources and the knowledge that I have on how to approach things, you're still going to feel it. It's tough. That leads me to my question. I reflect back on my childhood, and I can spot moments where, not knowing that our parents are going through parenting guilt, not even having the inkling of what parent guilt is. I remember my dad would display some of those symptoms that we mentioned in the data dump. And specifically, I remember my dad would ask me sometimes throughout my childhood, if I thought he was a good dad. And ultimately, that's just him seeking the reassurance that he is. Yeah. He's because he's feeling that guilt.
Yeah.
And, I know subconsciously I do the same thing with my kids as well, but I try to manipulate the assurance they can give back, or lack thereof in some cases, into a method of kids guiding parents type of approach. So do you ever reflect back on your parents and able to spot moments where they had unknowingly displayed that parental guilt without knowing it?
You know what? I mean, there have been a handful of times, not more or less with my mom, more or less with my dad.
Yeah.
But it was more, majority of the time it was, am I doing good enough?
Yeah.
Are you guys having fun? Is there
seeking that reassurance?
Exactly. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
at all.
absolutely not. Do you think in your relationship, those moments that you have with Addie, do you find yourself kind of doing that same thing? Your father modeled that behavior, and do you, maybe you haven't been aware of it, but maybe reflecting on those moments with her, do you kind of catch yourself kind of modeling that same behavior that, was modeled for you?
Similarly, yeah. Constantly asking her if she's having fun all the time. What I don't even care what we're doing. Like if we're going to a barbecue, I know there may not be any kids there or whatever, but they may not be her age.
Well, just to interrupt you real quickly, I also think that we need to differentiate that sometimes those questions are just sheer wonderment as well as checking in with your child.
Exactly.
But sometimes those questions do stem from parental guilt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, majority of the time that I do ask her is because I want to know if she's having fun.
Yeah. It's not the fact that you shouldn't feel the guilt. It's just, what you do with that information. Exactly. What you do with that information and how to handle it from there.
Yeah.
Which kind of migrates to our resolution where there isn't much you can do to stop the guilty feelings or any feelings for that fact. However, you can take steps to help banish those thoughts once they start to feed into your brain. And a few methods to cope with that guilt or any emotion for that fact could be as follows. Identify your triggers by paying attention to the automatic intrusive thoughts of guilty parenting in this case. Reframe your thoughts and approach them with a more positive angle, such as, instead of being like, I'm always at work, I need to spend more time with my child, I am working to support my child. Recalibrate your own expectations of yourself as a parent and as a father. Make a concerted effort to be focused and present when you do have that opportunity with them. Build a support system and utilize friends, family, or platforms like what we try to create for you guys. And avoid comparisons. One of the biggest things you can do to hurt yourself is compare.
Yep.
Practice a regimented self-care routine like we've mentioned in the past in previous tapes, because that helps you. And lastly, don't be afraid to seek the professional help. It's there, and they are professionals for a reason. Ask my wife. We hope that these tips can help you begin migrating those weighing emotions of dad guilt. It's time for some Shit-uations.
Are irrelevant now.
So for tonight's Shit-uations, we got a couple spicy ones.
Why is it spicy?
It's back from 2009. It says, today my dad had gotten a new cell phone. So I started to mess around with the cool features on his phone and stumbled upon some pictures he had taken. Next thing I know, I'm looking at my mom going down on my dad.
Oh, wow. Wow, you don't come back from that one.
No,
you don't
dude.
come back from that one.
No. The next one is anonymous in the United States. It says, today my boyfriend told me that he doesn't know why I think deep throating is so uncomfortable. To prove his point, he grabbed my dildo and effortlessly slid it down his throat.
Wow, bro. He's a glizzy master.
He's glizzy gobbler.
Yeah, he's... speaking of glizzy gobbler, man, when are we going to go golfing again, you and your glizzies?
Oh, and the last one is labeled Kid Blocked. It's by Anonymous, and it's from Australia. It says, today I discovered that my wife actually encourages my 3-year-old son to sleep in our bed as a buffer against any romantic advances.
What a bitch.
Sounds like my ex-wife.
Be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms, bros. We got Facebook. You can find us at facebook.com/thedadtapes. Find us on Instagram at the Dad Tapes Podcast. Sometimes never, we use Twitter, and you'll find us there at the Dad Tapes. But be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review of the show wherever you listen to podcasts. It truly helps the show. I mean, we're everywhere, guys. Yeah. We're talking like even Pandora, if you use Pandora anymore. Yeah. I know this isn't 2010, okay? But hey, you know what? I still use Pandora. I have a paid membership, and I've had it for years. Why not, right? I've created playlists that have lasted for years.
It's all about the Spotify,
and it's got the emo soundtracks I listen to. It's like, boom.
Shit-uations. Oh, man. So don't forget to rewind the tape before boxing it back up.
Please don't. Peace.
Later.
Later, skater.